Hi, Palumbi. Mr. White here, but you couldn't tell by the mask I'm wearing. Just a little point, if anybody's looking for a mask, we have Mrs. G has been making them for students. So we have about 25 of them. If you want to reach out to me, please let me know. Email me and I will let you know when you could pick those up. On Wednesdays, there's a table out for technology drop-offs. So email me. Here, I'm going to show you a video that I did at school. I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. We'll do this one first.
Hi, kids. I am actually at Columbia right now, and behind me is probably 3/4 of all your locker contents, hallway lockers, that is. So we are making plans, just so you're aware, that the week after school is over, so that's like June 2nd through 5th, we'll be getting information to your parents. We will have a pickup and drop off point here by last name, and we will give a date per last name. So like A through whatever will come one day, and so forth. And each one of these bags behind me have the contents of your locker on there and a label on there with your name. And then we're going to be bringing your gym locker stuff here, putting it right next to it. We will have anybody who has a yearbook, it will go here. Diplomas will go here. And then we will have tables when you first walk in on the side here to dump either your Chromebook, or for some of you who have textbooks at home, such as algebra or geometry, that type of stuff. Anyways, just so you know.
All right, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to go to our lesson for the day. Habit number 5. Where are you, habit number 5? There you are. All right, we're on habit number 5. Seek first to understand. I'm playing my usual message. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. What does that mean to you? I listen to understand, not to reply. Before I say something, I think about how it will make the person feel. So processing the information that they give you first. I should turn this down or else you won't be able to hear me. I use my ears, eyes, and heart to understand. You gotta think from a different person's point of view to try and feel about how they're feeling. Ideas to discuss and share. Who's a great listener in your family? Who is it? What makes them a great listener? I'm going to say my brother Julian is a fabulous listener. Do I choose words and actions that let others know I understand? Such as iMessages. I'm hearing you say that you aren't happy with the role you're playing. So it's just kind of rephrasing what they say to you so that they're aware that you understand what they're saying. Do I appreciate the importance of understanding before I share my thoughts and opinions? That's when you have to sometimes, when people say don't send an email right away, they're telling you to think about it. Think about the other person's point of view, perspective. It's the same thing at home. Before you open your mouth and you're upset about something, sometimes our emotions get ahead of our brain. So we have to sit back, think a little bit, and then react. All right. This is a song called Misunderstood by Genesis and Phil Collins, by the way. Okay, now we're going to go to a thing about point of view. We're going to watch this. Here we go. 3 Little Pigs.
And that's when my nose started to itch. Everybody knows the story. Everybody knows the story of the 3 Little Pigs. Or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in a little secret. Nobody knows the real story. Because nobody ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf. Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of a diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. It's just the way we are. The cheeseburgers were cute. Folks would probably think you were big and bad too.
Cheeseburger,
But like I was saying,
cheeseburger.
the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze to a cup of sugar. This
No sneeze.
is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. And I had this terrible sneezing cold. And then I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright neither. He had his whole house built out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind builds a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't just want to walk right into someone else's house, so I called out. Hello? Little pig? Little pig, are you in? Are you in here? No answer. I was just about to go home without a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. And that's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze.
Sneeze.
And you know what? That whole darn house fell down. And right in the middle of that pile of straw was our first little pig, dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner just, lying there in the straw. So I ate it up. I ate the pig. I think it was like a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. Now this neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had a house built of sticks. I rang the bell in the stick house. Nobody answered. And then I called. Hey, Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig, are you in? Then he yelled back.
Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin.
I just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth this time. But I sneezed a great sneeze. You're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. And when the dust cleared, there was a second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf Simon. Now, food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing that was left to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as like a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have my cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. And this guy was the first and second pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family, because he had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. So I called. Mr. Pig! Hey, Mr. Pig, are you in? Do you know what that rude little porker said to me?
Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again.
Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar in there. And he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear sweet granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. And then the third little pig yelled,
And your old granny can sit on a pin.
Now I'm usually a pretty calm fella. When somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. The cops drove up, of course. I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had to do. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. Oh, they jazzed the story up with all that puff and blow your house down. And they made me a big bad wolf. That's it. That's the real story. I was free. But, maybe you could, loan me a cup of sugar.
So what does that tell you? That sometimes we can't just listen to rumor. You need to have firsthand knowledge of a situation to really get an idea of what happened. So that's why we always seek to understand first before we make any judgments. We're going to go to the Quarantine Series next. This time, share. Where's my quarantine? There it is. All right. If you haven't been watching the quarantine, we're going to go to 250 on here. And they're talking about focusing on how we can affect others during COVID. It's all about social distancing.
Yeah, I really agree with what Brandon said. I think it's also important to remember that in that space where we have the freedom to choose, we're not just choosing for our greater good, but the greater good of our community. Like if we choose to go out in public without masks, we were talking about earlier how honestly we have to treat this like we may have COVID-19, which hopefully I hope none of us do. But you have to be aware of your surroundings and that you're not just affecting yourself, but you're affecting people who could like really have a problem with COVID-19.
And there are some people in our school community that have had family members who have been really stricken horribly with COVID, and some have passed away, unfortunately. So you need to make sure that you're taking the right precautions with a mask around people, because you may not have symptoms and be sick and then pass it on to someone who might have an underlying condition like asthma, heart condition, diabetes, that can't handle this illness as much as other people. So that's a really good point. We're going to go to 445 on here. What are teens seeing in their community?
For me, I feel like we've really come together, especially with people we don't even know. Like I'll be walking and there's like these obstacle courses on the sidewalk that little kids set up for us to do. I feel like we're coming together in different ways, and we're also figuring out that relationships are really important. Like before, I feel like they were taken for granted, that you could go see your friends, you could do this and that, and now I feel like we're really having time to reflect, and it's bringing us closer, even though we're apart. Like mentally, we're getting closer than we were before, and that's really important. The fact that we're able to slow down from our activities and really see how important people are in our lives.
That's a great point too. I think we took for granted being able to have our close relationships with people, be able to go out and see people socially. So when we do open, I hope everybody takes that as being very precious, and that you treat people exactly how you want to be treated when you get back. And then we're going to move to 755, talking about the new normal.
The new normal we're going to have, I think we're still going to have limited time. We need to be outside and be with other people. We still need masks. We'll probably need masks for a while. We'll probably still have the social distancing 6 feet away from people, just until, like, we can't let up on it just because it's getting better. We got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until it's for sure gone. So I think the new normal will be for a while.
So don't get disappointed and frustrated as we progress with things. And I know the governor's putting out different plans, different phases. Stay the course, stay strong, communicate with your parents and family members, do some social media, Zoom, FaceTime, whatever you can to try and communicate with friends and talk about how you're feeling. Really important. Once again, we're going to go out to Misunderstanding by Genesis. And I hope you guys have had a great week and a good Friday and a great weekend. Bye, everybody.